For literally thousands of years, the rules of war were written in dirt and stone. They were brutal. Yeah, they were bloody, but they were simple. And then, humanity learned to fly. So today, we're going to break down how conquering that third dimension, the vertical one, didn't just add a new piece to the chessboard. It flipped the entire board over, changing the rules of conflict forever.
I mean, seriously, think about it. Every single great commander before the 20th century, Caesar, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, they were all masters of the exact same game, played on a two-dimensional surface. It was all about geography, numbers, and supply lines. That was the whole shebang.
And this was the golden rule, right? It was the absolute unshakable truth of their world. You take ground, you hold ground, you win. Simple. Armies marched, navies controlled the coasts, but at the end of the day, the war was decided by boots on the soil. It was a rule as fundamental as gravity itself.
So what happens when that's no longer true? What happens when you can just fly over the strongest fortress, the widest river, the most impassable mountain? This single question marks one of the most violent, most radical transformations in the history of human conflict. You know, history doesn't turn suddenly. It drifts, then snaps. And believe me, this was the snap.
All right, so let's get into it. Before the airplane, you have to understand, the world was basically flat from a military point of view. All conflict, every bit of strategy was horizontal. To get from point A to point B, you had to cross all the space in between. There were no shortcuts.
And you just can't overstate how much these limits defined everything. Armies were basically tethered to their supply lines like a dog on a leash, moving at a walking pace. Your greatest defense wasn't some big wall. It was the sheer, brutal distance an enemy had to march. And most importantly, war had a clear front line. Everything behind that line was considered safe. That fundamental assumption was about to get completely obliterated.
And then, everything changes. With the arrival of the first rickety airplanes over the trenches of World War I. Now, these weren't the fighters and bombers we think of today. They were fragile things made of wood and canvas. Their purpose was something far more subtle and honestly far more revolutionary: sight.
Just try to put yourself in the shoes of a general for a second. For centuries, your knowledge of the enemy was limited to what a guy on a horse could see from the next hill. Then, all of a sudden, you can lift your eyes thousands of feet into the air and see everything. You can see the enemy's trenches, their supply depots, you can see where they're gathering their troops for a surprise attack. This wasn't just an advantage, it was like being able to read your opponent's mind.
And this right here is the crucial point. A lot of people miss this detail. The first true power of the airplane wasn't its ability to drop a bomb, but its ability to drop knowledge right into a commander's lab. The infamous fog of war, for the very first time, started to lift. This idea, information supremacy, became the bedrock that every other